Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to season 2 of the Bank Shot Degens podcast with your host. I am Matt the Schrein, and to my right, my buddy, the man himself, Jacob Denny Denenholz. Denny, what is good?
What's going on, man? It's good to be back. You know, we just played a couple hours of basketball ourselves, and I think it was a great kind of transition going into this episode tonight. Took a 3-month hiatus off, but here we are again on October 1st, ready to get back into it.
That offseason was too long, man.
It was.
We're really excited to get back to this podcast. We have a lot of things planned for this season that we're so stoked about. Denny, how's the summer?
You know, it was fun watching that Olympic basketball.
Yes,
I would say.
Sure, it was. We're about to talk about that pretty soon.
Yeah, it was nice, you know, during that little hiatus from the league to see that, watch all the summer league stuff, see all the off-season moves, trades, signings, stuff we're going to be talking about today. But it's always exciting during the off-season. And then as you get closer to to game one, that's all-time high. So
we're going to talk about all of it today.
Yeah.
This is preseason episode 1. We're going to have another preseason episode. Well, we'll tell you about that next episode. But for now, just want to remind everybody. So wherever you're watching, we're now fully live on Spotify, where our main host has always been. We're on Apple Podcasts now. As soon as Spotify one hits, Apple Podcasts will be there within an hour as well. And we're now all audio is finally on YouTube as well. And starting this season, we're going to be trying to post full videos of our actual video of us actually doing this. So please go like, subscribe everywhere. Look out for that. Lots of content coming. We're going to try to be very busy on this and be proactive. So next up.
Big time things coming.
Big time things coming.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get into Olympic hoops, this just broke today that Jaren Jackson Jr. might have pulled his hamstring today in a little bit of practice.
I hope it's not severe. I really hope it's something that can maybe take a few weeks and he can be back. Because with Zach Edey coming to Memphis and you have Ja back, they definitely don't want to repeat the start of last season.
No.
So this is definitely a little bit worrisome. He'll get some imaging done and we'll see what the results are in the next few days. But hoping it's nothing serious.
Yeah,
for Triple J.
That Memphis Grizzly team is just injury riddled last year, and on top of Ja Morant's suspension and then getting injured again, it's really tough to see, especially. Like literally the media deal was yesterday and now he's already pulling his hammy. It's not very good.
And isn't Gigi Jackson going to miss the start of the season?
Probably. I forget what his injury was.
I know he had something. And that, Gigi Jackson, we all saw what he did last season.
He stepped up in a huge way.
Yeah.
When every single Memphis Grizzly was out.
It was also a stud during summer league.
Yeah,
that was a fun team. That was a fun team to watch.
Oh my god,
along with
amazing.
Along with Jalen Wells,
our boy,
having a summer league. He had a really good summer league.
He killed it in summer league, and it just made the Memphis Grizzlies look good of getting him in the second round there with that pick, especially after getting Zach Edey as well. Jalen Wells is going to really help out the depth in this Memphis Grizzlies team that needed it badly, obviously, even with Triple J now getting injured.
Yeah.
And as we know, as Cougs fans, Jalen Wells doesn't play just to guard. He's a really good shooter, but, he was on the tallest NCAA basketball team last year, and he's a big body he's shooting guard or small forward, whatever you want to call him. He can really play anywhere on the floor.
He's ready. He'll be ready. But going back to Gigi Jackson, the start of September, he broke his foot. Had to get surgery for that.
Yeah, I doubt he's going to be starting by the
season. That'll be some time he'll miss. But before we go into Olympic hoop talk, Matt, we have a tradition.
We do have a tradition
that we need to continue on.
So here on the show, we started last season. If you couldn't tell, our name's called the Bank Shot Degens, and we on the show will be taking a shot every single episode until this great association, until Adam, Mr. Silverman himself, brings back the Seattle Supersonics to our great city that we live in Seattle. We miss them. Everybody misses them. I'm not sure how much more we can say out loud publicly in the media You see football players wearing Supersonics jackets up to pre-games. Sorry, this is my little rant, but bring the goddamn Sonics back. The city of Seattle deserves them. We have good sports. We're not going to talk about the rest of the Seattle sports because we get angry about it sometimes.
Yeah, we're not going to get into it.
But we will be taking a shot until the great Seattle Supersonics come back. Denny, cheers.
Bring it back.
Bring them back. All right, let's get into it. Olympic hoops. Denny, what do we got?
You know, it was really fun watching this run with this team. I'm excited for the documentary whenever it drops. I think for all the young guys that are on the team, being able to team up and play with, guys they grew up watching.
I think that's what honestly made this Olympics very different, for the fact it was the most different lineup we've had in a long time.
Yep.
Not to mention we had the COVID years, obviously, but it was super fun to watch the young guys playing with guys probably in their last Olympics. So
yep, watching Ant and KD was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was fun. But they in group play, I mean, they did really well. Ant had a really hot start to that. They took care of Puerto Rico. Ant had 26 off the bench. Embiid had 15. I think the thing that was a big question going into it was just what the ball movement was going to look like. And it looks like exactly what we were expecting. Everyone's unselfish on that team. Star players, guys who have the ball in their hands all the time, now adjusting and being able to make that extra pass. They did that successfully. And, it led for wide open threes and guys cutting the rim. And so that was, it was really good to see. So they took care of business at Puerto Rico. They played South Sudan, who I think South Sudan actually had a pretty good game.
They were a fun story to watch.
Yeah.
Mostly the biggest thing, the only NBA player that comes to mind is Luol Deng, that's from South Sudan. And actually, it wasn't until last year that they didn't have a single indoor court facility to even practice in for an Olympic team. And so Luol Deng supported his own money to give that to the team, and it paid off. They actually looked so good, a bunch of tall guys. And what I think the biggest thing about this is, which there's already been NBA guys talking to, or two people at least got signed, I think, actually, is, getting these guys noticed to come to the NBA. It was really cool to watch them. And obviously we took care of business pretty well, but they played their asses off, and it really created some opportunities for some guys to make to the NBA now.
Yeah, I think it put their country on the map.
Absolutely. They're going to be a reckoning for years to come. I feel like they're just only going to get better from here. I think that's just the national coverage they needed.
Yep. You were talking about guys who are going to the league or in the league already. I'm pretty sure Wenyen Gabriel.
Yep. Yeah, Wenyen Gabriel
was on that team. And then I think their point guard, Carlick Jones. I think he just got signed somewhere. So yeah, it was cool to see. Shout out Luol Deng. That's a goat right there.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. They didn't have an indoor court until, Luol Deng's just been nothing but like pretty much their donor there. And
yeah.
Luol Deng, like, we all know him, but he wasn't like obviously the highest paid player in the NBA by any means.
Right.
So him to take out that lump sum just to give his home country that, and now he's creating these opportunities for these guys to actually make money in the NBA too. So it's kind of huge.
Yep. So yeah, we took care of business with them, and then we in group play when we played Serbia, that was a blowout. KD was cooking, LeBron was doing his thing. Obviously a different game in the semis.
Yeah.
But before that, we took care of business against Brazil, and Book and Ant led that charge against Brazil.
Yeah, they were unstoppable.
Book, yeah.
We'll talk about individual players after we go through the whole thing, but I got something good to say about Book.
Yep. And I think, what I was just talking about, the ball movement that makes an extra pass, the 3-point shooting was really effective. These guys shot 48% from three in that game against Brazil, had 31 assists.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
But that was their last easy game in the Olympics. Going into the Serbia round 2, that game was that game was insane.
This should have been the final game. I know it wasn't, but my gosh, it was something special to watch. Bogdanovic was insane for the
shout out Bogdanovic.
Oh my gosh. He was absolutely insane for Serbia. Not to mention you already have the 3-time MVP Jokic on that team. And you could tell
he loves playing out there with his brothers rather than playing with the Nuggets, man.
He was a lot more passionate.
Yeah, you could tell.
For his team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely insane. And And you can also tell some frustrations because, he's very vocal on the floor in the NBA as well, but he was very, very passionate and just running the court completely. But Bogdanovich was doing so good off there. And yeah, it was a great time.
I think Steph Curry was our savior that game.
Yes, he was.
9 threes, 36 points.
He popped off in the third. Was it the third that he started that?
Yeah, he started cooking.
Gosh.
Yeah.
One after another. You just hit on the ball. You knew it was going in.
I think he knew what he had to do.
Which was really nice because he had a slow start in the group play as well. So it was nice to see that come back. We all knew he was going to do it.
But, in that game, it seemed like every time we hit a three, they responded with a three of their own just immediately. And it was so annoying. Oh my, what's that guy's name? Avramovich, their point guard. I think that guy had like 4 or 5 threes.
And you have Vasilije Micic playing for Serbia as well.
Yep.
He was running the point.
Yeah.
Former Thunder and current Hornet.
That was a good team.
Serbia had a lot of NBA players now.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was a good team. But KD came up clutch too in the end, forcing that backcourt against Bogdanovich. Had that ISO pull up jumper.
As much
put
as
him up 4.
Yeah. As much as I had praise for Bogdanovich, he was also just getting really annoying in the end because he was complaining about everything. And KD was like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
Just nah.
I'm pretty sure there was that video of him and LeBron kind of just by him. They're both just
it was just so funny.
They're just like, come on.
Bogdanovich was a character. It was kind of great because I feel like he's a very underappreciated player in the NBA when you talk about him.
100%.
And so I feel like everybody just like, oh, this is Bogdanovich.
Yeah.
I'm like, he finally got the international stage to kind of show it off. So I think that's going to really help him in his NBA play as well.
Yep. But yeah, shout out Serbia. Like you said, I think that should have been.
It would have been. That felt like it was the final.
It felt like it was the goal game.
It's like, oh my God. And then you're like, oh, now we have another game.
Yeah.
Against.
That was against France. And I think the whole world was watching that and saw what happened. But we just said his name and we're saying his name again. Steph Curry. He is him. He saved us. He was our savior, and he gave us the gold medal.
Absolutely insane. France was just biting back. We kept on getting a big lead, and then we just would.
And then they would come storming back. Yeah. Yes. Oh my God.
Wemby was everywhere, as you would expect.
Yep.
Who? Koulibaly? No, Koulibaly didn't do great.
Yabusele.
That's who I was thinking of.
That guy was going crazy the whole Olympics. Yeah. And then I think he got signed by the Sixers.
Signed by the Sixers.
Yeah. Oh my God, man. He was insane. I think he had 20 that game. Yeah, like you said, I think it even happened in the Serbia game too. We got out to a big lead and then we kind of just
inching back.
Yeah, teams just kept on inching back. There was 10 lead changes in that game with France. It was crazy. And that was, you could tell the ball pressure was working against us. We had 17 turnovers. 10 of those were steals against us.
Right.
So that was a crazy game. But I think watching that Steph Curry performance is something that we will. I don't know if we'll see that again.
Which this solidified, maybe for me, or maybe for a lot of people, just where Steph Curry is in their all-time greats of NBA.
Yep.
And basketball for USA in general.
Yep.
He carried the team multiple times when he needed him. I used to hate the guy just because of the dynasty, literally just simply because he was good.
Yep.
And now it's crazy when you grow up and just have such profound respect, especially when he's doing this for your country. And
yep.
Yeah, Steph, you got your flowers, man. You got your gold. You gave USA undefeated in the Olympics this year, and yeah, amazing.
Brought home the gold.
That
step back 3, I think, was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Just
unbelievable.
He
was like, I'm taking
that over and over in my head.
Yeah, but man, yeah, this USA team was really fun. Seeing those big 3 guys of Steph, KD, and Bron, but other guys stepped up as well. The guy who you're about to talk about. Let's talk about him. Let's talk about him.
I don't know who it was on Twitter. Some guy on Twitter just literally tweeted out, I was like, oh, D-Book's not going to know how to play because he needs the ball in his hands. And he took that to heart, and he became the best role player I've ever seen in his entire career. He was locking down defenders left and right. He was being a hella good passer. He was taking smart shots when the ball was given to him in open situations only. And he was a huge contributor to this team. That was just very, very underrated. And got to give my flowers to D-Book. He was awesome. I loved his vlogs while he's in Paris as well. Those were awesome to watch on YouTube.
Yeah, that full one he dropped.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Is so fire.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
The D-Book, I love that, especially on the U.S. basketball team where, you know, that's what my biggest worry was coming into this, is because it's a bunch of number one guys. They're not, you have LeBron, you have Steph Curry, you have KD, these guys that just, you know, they are the same way in the NBA where they just want the ball in their hands and they're going to figure out what they're going to do with it. So it was kind of really interesting. D-Book, you get my flowers, man. I loved you. You did so awesome.
You know, there's whatever tweet that was that he retweeted when they were like, someone needs to be able to just kind of step away and be that role player on Team USA, and he was like, I'll do it.
Yeah, he said I'll do it. That's all he said, and he did.
Yeah, like you said, you know, he got to his spots, knocked down his shots. He really excelled at moving without the ball and also making that extra pass. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is he started all 6 games in the Olympics, and he shot 56% from 3, which is the 5th highest in USA basketball history. It was amazing. And another thing just about assisting, I think having LeBron at his age, in this stage of his career, where he's become a really good facilitator, was also huge.
Yeah,
because
LeBron did really good.
He was making that extra pass all the time.
It hurts me to root for LeBron, but obviously I root for my country.
Yes.
I'll never not do that. But he was doing really well. It was really nice seeing. Well, obviously he had his man AD down there as well.
Yeah,
playing a lot. My only upsetting part was Steve Kerr not playing KD's because he didn't show up earlier to practices. But like, it's not your team. I know you're the head coach. I get it. I get you're trying to make a message, but like,
he was so efficient in the Olympics.
He killed it. I mean, obviously he played him a lot more when it came to Serbia and France.
Yep.
But like, I was like, come on, dude.
He was playing like 20 minutes. Yeah.
Mark Few was wanting to play him. Shout out to my boy Mark Few, Gonzaga. Also, big announcement.
Yes, yep.
Big announcement today. Gonzaga's joining the Pac-12.
Welcome. Welcome.
The new Pac-12. This has also been new since we've had the offseason.
Yep.
The Pac-12 is now a total of 8 schools, but basketball is only basketball and baseball, but we need another football team. I'm not going to go in the whole thing, but Gonzaga, you have Gonzaga, San Diego State, Washington State, Colorado State, Utah State. All 5 of those schools alone are top 60 in the nation net ranking. And so we have a very big basketball conference. There's talks of possibly GCU coming now as well. Really, really hope that, because that'd be amazing. The GCU fans, they're amazing. They're one of the best atmospheres in college basketball. I saw them play in Spokane in the last tournament. Absolutely amazing. I know
their old mascot.
What's their old mascot?
Their old mascot was Josh Denenholz.
That mascot. Hashi.
He was Thunder. That's the mascot's name. Thunder the Antelope.
Thunder the Antelope. If I'm not mistaken, GCU is one of the only publicly traded universities as well. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure. Might have to fact check me on that later, but I'm pretty sure it's a publicly traded institution.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
But anyways, sorry, real quick rant on that.
No,
Pac-12 basketball is going to be exciting.
Yes.
We still need one more. I mean, this is for 2026, by the way, so we're not going to see it for a few years. But I mean, there'll be some scheduling alliances to kind of get things going. But we still need one more full school to actually make it a real conference to be considered Division I, FBS, and all that stuff. So stay tuned. It's definitely not over. We'll probably hear it before the end of the year of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if that conference stays together like it is right now, then that Pac-12 basketball is actually going to be quite a competitor. And it's kind of crazy being a Zach fan, first of all, and a Coug fan. That's going to be weird having to see him play every year for me. But I'll decide later on that. I already know Thomas and Patty are going to give me shit. Fuck them. I don't care. The interesting part is Gonzaga's been in this WCC for so long now, and people keep on giving them shit because there was talks about Gonzaga joining the Big 12 actually, and so they just both sides never agreed to it, and so they're just saying Gonzaga's never going to play good teams, even though they have a shit ton of top 25 non-conference games every single year. Like they're playing Baylor and Kentucky this year, so shut up. But it's kind of interesting they're going to actually get some competition. And it's proven that when you play high competition in your conference, then there's a lot better chance of you winning a national championship. So I'm obviously hopeful for that. I'm also hopeful for another Cougs national championship, but Cougs got the championship in 1917. Don't you damn well forget it.
Don't you damn well forget it.
Don't you dare.
Let's go.
Okay, moving on. Shout out to Mark Few. What a stacked coaching crew as well. You had Steve Kerr at the helm, and then you had Mark Few, assistant coach, and the Heat's coach, Spo. It was great, really well.
Yeah.
And then quick flowers to the first year that 3-on-3 basketball was also within the Olympics. So you had the men's team did not do very well. Actually, they played France and they got was it France or Japan? No, I'm pretty sure it was France. They just got beat really badly. And then you had Washingtonian Haley Van Lith on the 3-on-3 team for the women's. Cameron Brink was also supposed to be there, but she had a really bad injury. Hope you get better, Cameron.
Congrats on getting engaged.
Congrats on getting engaged as well. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm kind of sad about it, but that's okay. I had no chance, but there was just a dream. Anyways, shout out to the 3-on-3. I'm really hope they keep that. It'll be really interesting going forward on who Team USA chooses for that, because honestly, I want to sweep basketball, man. I don't want to just women's won gold as well for regular.
Yep, that was also a crazy game.
That was also crazy.
That was a crazy game.
Also some old heads that will not be joining back. Teresa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Jewel Wood was on that team, I believe.
Yep.
Super Seattle Storm girl right there. So shout out to the women. We respect women here.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
That was a hell of a gold medal game.
Breakdown here, but
yeah, hell of a gold medal game.
You earned your flowers. You did amazing.
Yep.
But anyways, anything else you want to add on Olympic basketball?
Yeah, I think, just to finish up, I think a big takeaway from it is that international basketball is back.
It felt so good.
We didn't talk about these other teams, but all these other teams are getting really good.
I loved the graphic of when you look at the dream team of the 90s of how many NBA players were in other countries. There was barely any, mostly from Germany or Serbia still, those very North Europeans. But now you see it, and there's so many NBA players on every single team. Quick shout out to Japan that we didn't get to as well. Yep. We had former Coug Jordan Hawkinson, and a current Laker and former Gonzaga player Rui Hachimura, and our friend of the show Ryan Rapps, also his teammate. He was also playing for Japan, so he plays for University of Hawaii right now.
Yeah, what is it, Akira Jacobs?
Akira Jacobs, yep, Akira Jacobs, and so
shout out Watanabe. My God,
it's so kind of crazy. Japan almost beat France. It was literally came down. I think it went to OT actually.
Yep,
and
that
it
was
went
a
down
crazy game.
It was insane from the buzzer. There was this. It's just so funny because you have all these Japanese guys that are very, very short versus a very tall French team. And all you had was those three guys that I mentioned that were the tallest on the team. Well, Rui's not a tall guy compared to the rest of the NBA. And so it's just funny to watch them. But anyways, wrap up my point to that. Yeah, just crazy how many NBA players are international now and how they're kind of taking over the NBA. And I'm so happy for it. Obviously, I want to see American guys succeed, but there'll be plenty of that. I don't think that's ever going to go away, but it's really cool seeing all these international players everywhere.
Yeah. I think a team I still really like is Canada.
Oh, I love Canada.
I know you're a fan of Canada as well. They're a good team.
Didn't even mention them.
Australia,
Yeah.
They
Desmond
didn't
Bane.
do as well this year.
Desmond Bane's on there, right? Not Desmond Bane. Former St. Mary's guy. What's his name?
Oh, on Australia?
On Australia. He had a pretty good showing. And obviously Josh Giddey.
They have Giddey. They have who else? They have Patty Mills.
Patty Mills, can't forget him.
They have Dyson Daniels.
Oh, really?
Who else they have? Dante Exum.
Oh, Dante Exum actually had a really good had a pretty good game in there.
Josh Green.
I didn't know Josh Green was Aussie as well.
Yep. So they, Jock Landale.
Jock Landale, that's the freaking St.
Oh, is that who you're talking about? Yeah, Jock Landale. Yeah, he played well. Yeah.
Or no, was he St. Mary's or Arizona? I forget. But Jock Landale.
Oh, no, actually. But that was a good team. Yeah, Dyson Daniels did his thing. But yeah, I mean, international basketball is back. And
Yeah.
we see it. There's a lot of international players in the NBA now, and they're excelling, and it's just cool to see. Definitely makes the Olympics more exciting.
Yeah. And love to see my Canada boys.
Yeah.
Half of the Thunder. You had the cousin connection with Nikhil and Shea. It was really cool to see that. Nah.
Yeah. That's always dope.
And the Dorcher Chamber, of course.
Yep.
And
Jamal Murray didn't do shit.
Jamal Murray did not do anything.
Yeah. So we'll see how he does this year.
Another Gonzaga boy.
Yep.
There's 4 Zags in this one. Domantas Sabonis also. No, Sabonis didn't make it that far.
I don't think they did.
Who else? There was Filip Petrusev for Serbia.
Yep.
Also former Gonzaga guy.
Yep.
He actually did really awesome. He was a big role player for Serbia there. Just for height wise, because everybody's on Jokic, so you have to have somebody else out. Just so like we said, just so many international players. We can go on and on.
Yep. But enough about Olympics, Matt. This offseason, there's been a lot going on. Trade wise, signings.
Trades first.
Let's hop into it. Let's talk about this first trade. Alex Caruso is now on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that trade was for Josh Giddey. So now Josh Giddey's on the Chicago Bulls, and the Thunder have acquired Caruso. Matt, how are we feeling about that trade?
Denny, I'm feeling pretty good about that trade. I don't know about you. I'm not sure how there's no picks in this or whatsoever. Caruso, who when healthy is averaging 20 plus, and one of the if not the best defensive guard in the league. They call him the White Mamba back when he was in the Lakers. He actually started his career in OKC Blue, so welcome back to Oklahoma City. And weirdly enough, at 30 years old, he is now the oldest player on the Thunder, with Kenrich Williams, 28, being the second oldest player.
That's so crazy.
I love this, but at the same time, I mean, besides Josh Giddey's last offseason, that was something different that I'm not going to comment on. He was called the Slob Wizard. I loved him on the Thunder, and he kind of shit the bed near the end there. I'm glad we got Caruso. The fact that I think Josh Giddey still could have a really successful career in the Bulls. He knows how to really run a floor, and I think that's really valuable, especially for the Bulls, who just have a lot of players that are just kind of individual. I feel like that's a big thing because they had a lot of star players. If you think about it, last year they had DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, they had Andre Drummond down there. They had Caruso when he was healthy. They had Kobe White, Vucevic. The really good team, and you would have thought they did really well last year, and that's just not true.
I've thought that every year. Yeah. I'm a low-key Bulls fan. It's depressing.
So I really think Josh Giddey could really grow over there. I love the guy, but obviously I'm really way more excited for the fact that we got Caruso, and there's no way anybody's going to have not even the Celtics. Nobody's going to have a better defensive backcourt than us, with Shea, who led the game in the leading steals, their Dorcher Chamber. You don't get a name like that for not having shitty defense. J-Dubs, and now Caruso, and you have Aaron Wiggins come off the bench as well. I cannot ask for anything better, honestly, at this point. And the fact that he's only 30 years old and our oldest player on our roster right now, it's just teach him your ways, Caruso.
Yeah.
You started from the bottom, and in Oklahoma City, Sam Presti's the first one to give you a shot. Now like you said, he really believes in you and wants you back here. So it's really saying something. So go do your thing. Stay healthy, please. It'll be a lot nicer that a lot of the weight's off his shoulders for things. He's going to help Shea and Dort and everybody so well. So I'm all for it. This is great.
Yeah, starting off with Giddey, he at least gets a fresh start now in Chicago. But like what you were saying, I think Lonzo is expected to come back or at least play a little bit, but it's going to take a while for him to ramp up just with how much. It's going to take so much time for him to ramp up with just how long it's been since he's been on the floor, and they need another facilitator besides Kobe White, because Kobe White is, I think, started to become more of a scorer, just starting to find his own shot more, and then you're able to add Giddey, who's a taller guard too. I think is a good start for him in Chicago. I think, a positive to look at for him is he had a good Olympics.
Yeah.
He was playing well in the Olympics. So let's see if he can kind of keep that momentum going into the season. But oh my God, man, I cannot believe Alex Caruso is on the Thunder, bro. This guy, this is insane. I mean, one of the greatest, on-ball defenders in the league. He just excels at attacking the passing lanes too. I feel like this guy's he's catching steals all the time. It's insane. Huge for the Thunder. And then just talking about their offseason in general. I mean, they also were able to sign Isaiah Hartenstein,
man.
which is what we've been talking about, all of last season on this pod, if they were going to get Hartenstein. And they threw money at him and he took it.
I sat there and I said this on multiple episodes last season. And I said, go get Hartenstein and you're there's no way you don't at least get to the finals. Obviously, there's a lot of good players in this league, but you just covered everything you needed for the fact of you're one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA. Now you just got a man who was rebounding the hell out of it for the New York Knicks and stepped up massively for them. And so he's going to take a lot of weight off Chet's shoulders now too, to let Chet do his thing, because Chet's not just going to be asked to be a perennial scorer on the team, as well as being a very big man down low, playing against AD and everything like that. And Isaiah Hartenstein can really help out with that. So I'm obviously very, very excited for Hartenstein. He's also a PNW man, born in Eugene, Oregon, but he's also German. But apparently his dad's also black. That was a funny podcast with the Knicks, with the Knicks boys. But I'm really excited for Hartenstein. I don't even know what our starting lineup's going to look like right now. We have so many goddamn good guys. And literally the only thing that can make me happier about this Thunder team is get rid of Kenrick Williams. And I'll be the happiest man in the world.
The second oldest player on the team.
And literally a liability. I'm pretty sure he has a negative plus minus, but like all the time.
I can't watch that.
I don't like him.
Yeah.
Be honest. But yeah, I could go on and on about the Thunder, but let's keep on moving on.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, what an offseason for them. We'll talk more about the preseason expectations coming up.
Yep.
But another big trade, there was a lot of speculation around this for a while. It ended up being like a 6-team trade, but the main part of it is that Klay Thompson is now on the Dallas Mavericks. Very weird to think of.
Yeah, especially after I kind of got salty after that Mavs,
after that series.
The series, after them going to
the finals. Yep.
I don't even have words. Klay Thompson, I love you. But this is crazy. I'm happy I'm kind of happy you're out of Golden State. Kind of glad that dynasty's done. I know a lot of people are going to be sad about that. I'm sorry. I really don't care. But Klay will be great for the Mavs.
He's going to excel, I think, in this offense.
And I think it'll be great for him to just kind of, Jason Kidd needs to do is just ease him into the offense and not expect everything from him. Because you have most of your team from last year still for the Mavs. So run that and then just put Klay in there and let Klay just kind of, because I don't want to see Klay get injured again, but it'd be very different too, because he needs to be, now you have 3 guys whose top thing are not defense. Luka, not a defensive man. Kyrie, not a defensive man. And Klay, not a defensive man either. So that will be very interesting to see them, but it'll be massive. What I'm really excited about more so is the Kyrie ball handling, drive into the paint, pop it out to Klay. He's in a spot. Klay just standing in your corner, standing your spot on the arc, and Kyrie will give you the ball. He will get you the ball. Unless Luka stands on your fucked. But I can't wait for that. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I think this just the way this offense operates, we've seen how it operates, is really going to help out Klay. I mean, he's not going to have to run around the perimeter anymore. He's not going to have to kind of just get open to find a shot. I feel like he can just kind of sit and wait, and the ball will get to him. And if it doesn't get to him, then Luka or Kyrie are going to finish at the rim. So it's going to open up a lot for him. And he was criticized for having a bad season last year, but he still averaged like 18 on 38% from 3, which is not that's people are criticizing about that, but that's better than
most of the league.
Most. So I think he, on paper, he should have a very good season this year.
Yeah. Just keep your head down and don't worry about everybody else, Klay. I know you got some troubles here and there about being benched a little bit, but then you came back and then you absolutely killed it. So just keep the noise out, do your thing. You're probably going to be a Hall of Famer in my opinion, but no, and think about him more than half majority of the league doesn't have as many rings as you do. So,
Yep. And another part of this trade, the Warriors side of it, they get Kyle Anderson, Slow-Mo Anderson, and Buddy Hield.
Slow-Mo Anderson.
Yeah, they get Slow-Mo Anderson, and then they get Buddy Hield, who they then did a sign and trade with, and he signed a 2-year, $21 million deal.
Buddy Hield would be actually.
Yeah, thoughts on Buddy Hield? Yeah, in the backcourt now with Steph.
Buddy.
Yeah,
he's a good defender as well. Buddy was on the he was on he was on the Pacers at one point.
Yeah, and then he got traded, I think, to the Sixers.
Yeah, it's
and then now
one of
he's
those big trade wheels.
Yeah,
I love Buddy. I think he'll be great for Curry to kind of help facilitate the floor a little bit, kind of give him some open space. So it'll be good to see him. And Slow-Mo Kyle Anderson. Just depth, I guess. I
mean, I could see him, putting in good minutes for them coming off the bench. But yeah, I like Buddy Hield in the backcourt with Steph.
Obviously no Clay, but I feel like
not
it's
Clay.
I think it's a different part that can open Steph Curry's game in a different way.
Yep. And we've talked about Buddy, with him obviously being traded to the Sixers last season.
Yeah.
His career 40% 3-point shooter, shot 38 last year. So
absolutely insane.
It's a fresh start. I mean, this guy's getting tossed around a little bit. I feel bad for Buddy Hield, but let's see what he can do here.
Yeah. And Wolves part of this trade too. They got a second swap cash.
Yep.
And the Hornets got Josh Green, Reggie Jackson, and a 29 second and a 2030 second.
And I think with Reggie Jackson, I think his contract got bought out, and I think he signed with the Sixers.
Yep, he did.
Yeah.
So he's back there.
But the Hornets get Josh Green, so Josh Green now has some playoff experience.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do for that team over there. And then the Sixers also got some 2030 pick or 2031 pick. But in their offseason, which we'll get to in a little bit, they had a big acquisition.
Big acquisition.
But let's go on to the next trade. This is a trade that is there's just a lot going on with the team in this trade, but Mikal Bridges has joined the New York Knicks, and he joins Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, his old Villanova teammates.
I'm not gonna. I mean, if you're listening to this episode, you probably already know what happened. But
yep.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I don't know what the Nets are doing, man.
Yeah, Nets get Bojan Bogdanovic, Mamadi Diakate, Shake Milton, and a bunch of unprotected firsts.
Wow, that's actually a lot of unprotected firsts.
Yeah, so I think they're just they're in full I think rebuild mode. They're just ready to start over and see what they can do with their assets.
Yeah, they just need a clean house.
Yeah. But Bridges going to the Knicks is insane.
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, they lost Hartenstein. Obviously, Bridges is not going to fill Hartenstein's role.
Yeah.
And then, you have Mitchell Robinson as well. It's interesting because I feel like they have a lot of guys with similar skill sets there now with Mikal Bridges and DiVincenzo and Jalen Brunson. Well, Jalen Brunson is more. He's going to have the ball in his hands no matter what. But it'll be interesting to see. And Josh Hart as well. I feel like they all are so versatile. So I feel like they're just kind of stacking onto that same game plan. Just whoever has the ball in the hands can do the same thing as the next guy. Yeah,
I feel like I think him being brought in, one of the biggest things is going to be his defense.
Yeah.
Brings in another really good perimeter defender. So now you have him and OG. And, I think they were trying to get Bridges because they thought OG was going to leave. And then OG re-signed. So now you have both them, which is pretty good. But Bridges is going to fit into that system well. Thibodeau loves playing his guys, 45 minutes a game. And Bridges, Bridges is an Iron Man, Iron Horse. Guy doesn't get injured or sit out or anything. So I think he'll be a good fit there. But yeah, Nets are clearly in rebuild mode.
Yeah, Mikal's insane. And I've seen a lot of controversy going on this summer of where does this put the Knicks now? They obviously had a great playoff run. And I don't think the way that they made that playoff run is very sustainable going forward, especially.
Yep.
And so it'll be crazy.
Yeah. We will be talking more Knicks here shortly.
Yeah. Yes, we
but
will.
Yes, we will. But another trade that happened, DeJounte Murray, him and Trae Young, that experiment did not work. They have broken it up. They have sent DeJounte Murray to the Pels.
Man, that's crazy, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, a little yawn there. We were talking about we wanted them to deal DeJounte earlier in the season, the trade deadline.
Yep.
You have his jersey. He's a goat, man. I don't kind of going back to like the thing with the Knicks and all the similar skill sets. I feel like the Pels have a lot of guys. Like you have DeJounte. Who else do you have on that team? What am I blanking? Brandon Ingram.
Yeah. CJ. Who's Grand Theft Alvarado?
Who's the rookie from last year?
Jordan Hawkins.
I feel like they're all kind of similar guys where they're long, lengthy dudes, and they can run. They're really fast. They're really athletic. Guys that can really move the ball around. They just got to learn to do it because they did not do that in the playoffs. But I think DeJounte will be good next to CJ and Brandon Ingram. I think he can really help facilitate this floor, kind of open things up. They just, I don't know. Something about the Pels, they just like seem so crowded on the court. I'm not sure if you get that, see the vibe I'm thinking of, but they just feel so crowded on the court, and so sometimes that's why they lose a lot of games. That's why they got swept by the Thunder. Honestly, they just like, I don't know. I didn't really like the coaching. Sorry, Van Gundy, but
yeah. I think DeJounte will help open up that offense.
Yeah.
CJ was running a lot of the point duties, and now bringing in DeJounte, he's able to revert back to that 2 role, which, I mean, that's his more natural role. We've seen what CJ can do in that role. So
right.
I think being able to bring that, you bring a bigger guard. Like you said, their team can run the floor, so he can be the guy that is running up the floor with the ball, facilitate on the break. I'm excited to see what DeJounte can do. He's been playing a lot better ever since his last year in San Antonio and moving into Atlanta. Last year, he was averaging career numbers at 22.5 points, 6.5 assists. So he's been continually improving. I'm excited for it. But like you said, a lot of questions with the Pels. There's always questions about Zion. And actually, they just lost Jonas Valanciunas. They traded him to the Wizards.
Yeah.
For I think a 2027 second round pick.
I feel like that's cheap.
So I feel like that's cheap too.
Well, that's not fair to Valanciunas, man. He was insane last year. He got like 20 rebounds against the Thunder in one of those playoff series games. He was holding a lot of weight in those games.
Yeah, not sure the entire thought process there, because now all they have is at big they have the guy they drafted, Yves Missy, or however you pronounce his name.
Oh, Missy, yeah.
Yeah. And then they have him and Daniel Tice.
And
are their
Zion.
And then they have Zion.
If the man's ever healthy.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So
still one of the greatest tragedies of NBA draft picks.
Yeah.
Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
That could be a whole episode.
Yeah, for real. So
but
DeJounte helps the backcourt, but they have issues in the front court they're gonna have to resolve. So
yeah, I do love DeJounte, but I just the Pels need to do something to either set them up for the future or do something now to actually compete. And I just feel like they're not in neither of those positions.
Yep.
And I love DeJounte, and it's a step in the right direction if you want to compete, but I'm sorry, Brandon Ingram, not a star in the NBA. He's a great player, and he was the best. He's probably their best player. CJ McCollum was always the second guy to Dame, and he's still like a second guy pretty much. And sometimes he's great on, and sometimes he's right off. So you never know. And it's just, you go down the list. Obviously, you can never count on Zion being healthy. And it's just, you have a lot of guys that emerged that have been good, but you can't just win a championship of being good. You have to be great. You have to have star power.
Yeah, I mean, they have guys that are getting old. I mean, CJ's getting up there. BI has been in the league for a while now. I just am kind of confused about the Jonas trade.
I feel like DeJounte could be a star. Obviously, he's been behind Trae Young in the Hawks.
Yeah.
So it's been a little bit different. It's been kind of frustrating, understandably. But I don't know. I don't know if that's the step in the right direction. I feel like they need to make more moves if they want to compete. I don't know.
Yeah, the Valanciunas move was not the move. I'm
That was definitely not the move.
very confused on that.
I'm not sure.
move.
I'm not sure.
Now they
trust
just
a
really
rookie?
now they don't have a now you're putting a rookie or Daniel Tice into the center slot.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know about that. We'll see. Maybe they know something I don't. I guess that's why they get paid the big bucks, and we're just here trying to talk about it.
We're just putting in our input.
We're putting our input.
That's all we're doing. Yeah.
All right. Next up,
we have DeMar DeRozan is going to the Chicago Bulls.
I'm excited.
DeMar DeRozan's going to the Sacramento Kings.
From the
Chicago Bulls, and in return, the Bulls are getting second-round picks. And the Spurs also got involved, and the Spurs are getting Harrison Barnes.
Harrison Barnes' loss is kind of sad because I feel like he was a pretty big identity with that Sac team.
He's been there for a while.
He has been there for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, DeMar. I'm excited to see DeMar and DeMontis. De'Aaron.
They're gonna make something out of that. Yeah, they're gonna make something out of that.
The D boys.
Yeah.
That's not okay. Let's scratch that. But yeah, I think it's a good fit for him. Especially with DeMontis, who's the most underrated center in the league last year. Also going to be in a new Netflix documentary series coming up called The Starting Five.
October 6th, I believe.
October 6th.
Yep.
That's this week, I believe.
It's coming up. Yep. Pretty hype.
I think it'll be great for DeMontis. Malik Monk, who was a 6th Man of the Year candidate last year. It'll be awesome. DeMar's amazing. Hopefully he stays healthy. That's another big thing always I think of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a lot better fit than the Bulls were. Because I think De'Aaron's really a selfless player, I feel like, but he can score at 40 in a night if he wants to, or he can really just pass the ball around, give it to Montes, give it to DeMar now.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a really good fit in Sac.
I love this trade as well. On paper, this should be an amazing fit.
Yeah.
DeMar was the runner-up for Clutch Player of the Year last year. We've seen what he can do down in the clutch. We've seen what De'Aaron Fox can do in the clutch. You are now putting both those players together. It's insane. DeMar, he's still averaging 24 a game. Like LeBron, as he's gotten older, he has improved his facilitating. Last year, he averaged 5 assists a game. Just being able to bring that vet presence to this young team, help them stay composed, help them make it back to the playoffs, is going to be exciting. And a guy who can hit shots, lane games when they need it, or be able to facilitate De'Aaron Fox, because that guy's also cold.
Yeah. Also, again, with the disrespect, only 2 second-round picks in Harrison Barnes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know a lot of it has to do with the money because his contract's insane.
Yeah.
Which I guess he's getting his value there for what he used to be and versus what he is now. I still think he could be great anywhere he's at. I think he's just underrated because he was on a Spurs team that looked like hot shit, and then he's been on a Bulls team that's looked like hot shit. So I think this is Sacramento definitely just got better. You couldn't ask for much more than that than getting another star guy just played right next to DeMontis down there at either small forward or power forward. I think it'll be great.
It'll be an exciting team to watch.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the next trade.
The big trade.
Got
finalized
that
today.
Was officially finalized today. There have been rumblings about it. Then it became official. Then it was finalized today.
Yep.
Karl Anthony Towns, after making it to Western Conference Finals with the Wolves, is being shipped to the New York Knicks. And in return, the Wolves are receiving Julius Randle and one of the Nova boys, Dante DiVincenzo.
This kind of hurts. It hurts from both sides. Cat never asked to leave Minnesota. You just went to the Western Conference Finals for once because Cat was drafted by the Timberwolves and has played so many seasons with nothing, and he finally gets this with Rudy Gobert next to him, and now he's getting traded to the Knicks and going to the East. He spent 10 years in Minnesota, and he just tweeted ... It's hard. It's part of the difference. It's crazy to think.
Seeing the teammate reactions too.
Yeah,
you could just tell it hit the team. I was like, damn.
Obviously, Cat was a big part of helping Ant grow. I feel like And especially, I feel like they're definitely helpful. Cat was definitely helpful in growing his game, I think, and he's obviously probably one of the best of the future of the NBA. Especially because he was also in the Olympics, which we didn't talk about him. He was also amazing,
Yep.
just athletic man. But also, I think this is a win-win. We'd have to look at the full trade details of what officially happened, because there was like some illegal trade stuff happening because of the money and picks, and so they spent like this whole week basically on this trade to make it happen, and so it finally got finalized today. And I think the Hornets came in and started offering some picks, or got some picks out of the deal. So only in the NBA where you're gonna have 4 or 5 teams in a trade, dude. Surprised the
Crazy.
Thunder weren't in there.
Yeah, seriously.
But Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo just going to the Wolves, I still think it makes the Timberwolves just as good, for the fact that you have DiVincenzo, who I think might be their best. I know technically the Timberwolves are like the best defensive team last year, but having DiVincenzo, I think he's a great defensive guard. He could be one of their best defensive guards on this team, and he probably will be coming off the bench. I think he would, in my opinion, I'd start him over somebody like Daniels, but they're probably not going to do that. And then having Julius Randle down there with Rudy Gobert, I feel like that pretty puts Rudy Gobert back into his role when he was in Utah, of being the main guy down low, versus Cat and him. I feel like it worked, but I feel like there's a little bit of who is where. And obviously they're just a force to reckon with. Any big guy had to go against both of them, which is amazing. But I feel like Julius Randle kind of opens up Rudy Gobert a little bit, and vice versa for Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle not having to be the main center. Now, obviously he got hurt. He was balling out before he got hurt in the New York. So if he can be healthy, I think he'll be very versatile for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, like you said, with Randle, his health, when he's healthy, he's a solid player. He just has to stay healthy.
Yeah.
But I think this position will really help his game. He's going to be able to not feel as much pressure, not have the offense try to run through him. Because I think when he had to try to facilitate, or he felt like he had to try to facilitate, he's throwing the ball away, he's getting turnovers. He used to be a turnover machine in New York. He averaged 3.5 turnovers last year. And so, I mean, on the other side of it, he did try to become more of a playmaker, and I think he was averaging 5 assists last year too. But that turnover to assist ratio is too high.
Yeah, very.
So I think him being able to revert back into a role where he's not the main guy, he can get the ball when in the spots he needs. He should be a good player. So
yeah, and then
DiVincenzo, career year last year, we talk about it. His game's still improving. He wants the minutes. He's confident. So
I just don't understand New York splitting up the Nova boys.
I know
everybody wanted to see the Nova boys together. 4 Nova boys on the same team, man.
Yep.
And you just had to break it up like that. It was Hart, DiVincenzo, Brunson, and Malik, right? Those would be the 4.
Yep.
Oh, they almost had a full squad of starting Villanova boys. I mean, all 4 of those guys played on the same team together back in Nova when they won the chip. So,
also for the Wolves, I think Naz Reid's stock is going to skyrocket.
Yeah, 6th man of the year.
We've already seen what he can do. Yeah, he's getting better and better. He's going to get definitely a lot more opportunity on this team.
Yeah.
So his stock is going to skyrocket.
I think the biggest thing for Cat, I think his role is going to have to change, because he really likes shooting the 3.
He was a 4 all year, and now he has to go back to being a 5.
He has to go back to being a 5.
I think he prefers the 4.
And I think everybody else starting on that New York Knicks team is going to be on the arch. So I think, you can't have all 5 guys out there.
He's going to have to be more of a rim protector, rebounder.
He's going to have to go back to playing old school.
They can't play 5 out, no, because then no one's going to get the rebound.
Which sucks. I feel like he's just getting a stride. Obviously, he was in the 3-point competition. He wasn't really good at it, but he was there. So yeah, maybe Thibodeau surprises me and kind of moves him around a little bit and kind of lets him do his thing, but I don't think it's going to happen. And it's kind of, like I said, I don't think Cat's happy about this at all. I don't think DiVincenzo or Randle are very happy about this at all either. I think they're really excited to see what happens with Mikal Bridges, and I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy. And Cat better be ready to, speaking of Thibs, Cat better be ready to play 40 a night.
Yeah.
Especially with Mitchell Robinson. I think he's out until January or December. And they're only their biggest Precious Achua.
Oh yeah.
So he'll get a lot of minutes.
Wasn't Precious on?
He was on the Raptors.
The Sun. Yeah, okay. I thought he was on the Suns for some reason.
No, he was on the I think Raptors. But he's gonna have to adjust from being the 4. He's gonna be the 5, be more aggressive, getting rebounds, protecting the paint, not being able to spread out the floor as much because, like you said, 1 through 4 on that team are gonna be all shooters who can spread the floor. Yeah. And so that's not gonna be his role. So huge trade on the eve of.
On the
eve of October or whenever the hell it was.
I just can't believe they didn't. It just blows my mind. They didn't even give him a try yet. And
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
everyone wanted it.
Definitely I think that's definitely got to be the biggest trade. Yeah, it's definitely got to be. And it came on the week before preseason starts. Preseason starts, I think, this weekend, isn't it?
I think so.
Already started.
Yeah. So on the eve
on preseason eve, and all through the house, and the creatures were stirring. Not even a cat.
Not even a cat.
I didn't rhyme, but cats and animals. So I had to. Yeah. Okay, I tried.
Any other thoughts about this cat trade though? Before we go on to the next thing.
I'm just really curious on how it's going to work out for both these teams who had really good playoff runs. Both of these teams had an insane playoff runs in Eastern and Western conferences, respectively.
Yep.
But the Timberwolves were right there from going to the finals, right there. And the Knicks had a lot of injuries and just, like I said, I don't think their style of play really is sustainable how they did in the playoffs last year is not very sustainable. You have Josh Hart is an absolute beast. He's not going to do that every single night. DiVincenzo. Now you have Mikal Bridges, and I think that was the perfect move. I think everything you had there, despite the fact of losing Hartenstein to the Thunder, which was a big hit for them, you had everything right with Mikal Bridges there. And you had a scorer, you had somebody that was versatile, and I feel like you could have made a deep run again. But, I mean, I think you have to really change your entire scheme. That's just going to be really difficult, I think, especially when you have that connection, you have that magic, especially where you have 4 guys that played a national championship together in college. Yeah, that's all. I think it's just going to be interesting to see how these coaches react to these switch ups and how they're gonna control it. I mean, obviously that's what preseason's for, and that's just what you have 82 games for. So.
Well, I believe opening night we will get to see the Wolves play.
Yeah.
So
that'll be great.
No idea what Randall's health is like right now, but I believe that they play the Lakers opening night Tuesday, October 22nd.
And we will be in San Diego for opening weekend, maybe.
Let's go.
I'm so excited.
Yep. Let's go on to free agent signings before we wrap it up for tonight, Matt.
Big ones.
Let's talk about the big one first. Paul George is a Sixer.
Yeah.
What are our initial thoughts on this signing by the Sixers?
It's no knock on Paul George, but the way I look at this team is the same way I think how the Clippers ended up last season. I think they have the talent. I do not see all those guys working together. JoJo's not going to want to. JoJo's stats are going to go down. That's just true. PG, they all want the ball. Tyrese Maxey, I think, is just elevating his game every single game. A lot of people have him as the favorites in the East now, but well, second favorites, signed the Celtics still. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm also just not a big fan of the Sixers in general. I'm not a big fan of JoJo. I'm also I might be a little bit still salty at Paul George. Who knows? But I just honestly don't know how this is going to really play out for them in the long term. Because we've been seeing so many teams adding these star power left and right, but just does it fit? Yeah,
that goes back to something we talked about last season. Just the new generation now of super teams.
Yeah.
Rather than dynasties, trying to build, from the ground up. You're just trying to pair all these star players together and tell them to go out there and win, 50 games and make it to the finals.
Coaching.
Yeah. And, sometimes the egos, don't blend well together. You have no idea until you get onto that floor.
Like we said, we saw the repercussions of it in USA basketball. There was a lot of give me the ball kind of happening there. And yeah, it translates to the NBA as well.
But I think, it's still a good addition for him, especially losing Harden. It's good to have PG.
Yeah.
We've seen what he's done the past few years. He's a hooper. You kind of get that forward position scorer. It's just going to be, how JoJo's going to react, because his volume's going to obviously go down. The offense is not going to run through him as much anymore. The ball's not always going to be in his hands. And, he's very emotional. He'll let it be known. So I think just a lot of questions to see how it all can blend well together. But like you said, that's what the preseason's for. So we'll see.
Also, real quick,
how it's going to play.
Now that we're talking about JoJo, he also played for Team USA this year, didn't he?
He did.
Is Joel Embiid from the USA, Denny? Was he born in the United States of America?
He was not born in the United States of America.
He was born in, I believe it was Cameroon.
He was born in Cameroon.
Which they didn't have a basketball team, actually. So I'm just sorry. That was just kind of funny. I just had to mention that. Nothing, not to say that Cat can't play with, JoJo can't play with us, but I just thought it was kind of a funny thing to mention.
Yep.
There was probably 3 athletes from Cameroon on called the refugee team for USA.
Yeah.
But I think JoJo said he's not going to play in the next Olympics already. Fine by me.
Yeah.
I did not like him out there. I don't think he did very well out there either. So
yeah.
Anyways, going to this big. I'm happy that the Clippers lost Paul George because it made the trade of the century, maybe of all time, just absolutely work out in our favor. And now we have an unprotected first-round pick from the Clippers this next year. They still have Kawhi, yes, but they still have Harden, yes. But there's a chance that this Clippers team, if they're not healthy and if they're just not doing good, they slide down quite a ways. And I will be very, very happy, man. There is a perennial next-level talent that is going up first overall in this next year's draft in Cooper Flag. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but my gosh, I could see it more likely than I ever could have now. And obviously, the Thunder are definitely not going to get last place in the NBA. They're definitely going to be top lottery odds. But if that Clippers team is not healthy, they could easily plummet.
A lot of questions for him.
A lot of questions.
Yeah, I bet they're looking back on that thinking,
also, yeah,
we just lost PG after all that.
And also talking about kind of USA basketball, Kawhi Leonard just kind of walked up and left. Didn't he? And like the first practice or second practice, he said, "Nah, I don't want to be part of this anymore.
I need to heal or rest."
He says, "I need to rest." Something like that. Like he just does not seem like the Kawhi we used to know. I'm not saying his talent's not there. He just doesn't seem like he loves the game as much as he used to, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's always hard to tell with Kawhi, but
I mean,
yeah, you never know what that guy's thinking, how he's feeling. But yeah, this might not be as successful of a season for the Clippers as they were hoping for.
Yeah.
Always a lot of questions with that team. Another former Clipper who now go on the next offseason move we're going to talk about here. Another Clipper was recently traded to the Utah Jazz, where he was bought out and signed with the Denver Nuggets, and that is Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. Super excited for that. Super excited for Russ. I feel like Denver actually is already respecting him. LA doesn't deserve Russ, man. He played his heart out.
Yep.
He's one of the best UCLA players ever to come out of there. LA doesn't deserve him. You Lakers fans suck. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Trent Doy. Happy birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday, Trent.
Fuck you for your Russ hate. And Clippers, I'm not sure. I don't think the hate was necessarily there with Clippers fans, but just didn't respect the man. And I'm excited for Russ on Denver. I think he can really open up their offense a lot because, like we talk about, just everybody's over Jokic every single game. I think he can really help run this floor and kind of create some space. And it's not necessarily replacing KCP. Russ and KCP are not the same player. So we'll have to see where the whole team can shoot threes, but there's a lot of production that KCP contributed to last year that they're going to be losing. I think Russ makes up for some of it, not all of it. But taking bias out of it, besides that, Russ is one of my favorite players of all time, probably the favorite player of all time. I think he can be really valuable, and I think it would be really nice to see him have a second chance here in Denver. And it already seems like, I think Jokic was actually said that there's reports that said that Jokic is really part behind of the push to get him there too, which makes me even feel way better about it too. It's not the just fact that they went out and got him and it just happened to happen, but your star player, the 3-time MVP, wanted him in Denver. That tells me something.
And Russ is even saying how, they were kind of holding him back in LA, and now in this offense, the way it operates, he's going to be able to just, play his role.
He's going to play his role.
Yeah. I think one thing that he's going to really bring to the table is, the Nuggets love running in transition.
Yep.
Having a guy who's going to be able to get down the floor in like 3 dribbles, such an athletic dude, be able to facilitate, finish at the rim is going to be really nice for him. It's just another vet. They're going into a very solid system.
Just another goat, man.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see the opportunity you can get there.
Obviously, I'm bittersweet because Denver Nuggets are kind of like a rival in this West. I mean, they're in the same division.
Russ will be having a lot of matchups against the Thunder now. A lot of matchups.
I think that's our first game of the season is Thunder versus Denver.
Oh, that'll be a good game.
Oh, that's going to be so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to hurt. I'm going to root for the guy. Obviously, I want the Thunder to win, but that's going to really hurt to see that. Love you, Russ. I hope you really ball it out in Denver. Another Russell W to the city of Denver, Colorado.
I didn't even think about that. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's funny. Oh man. Moving on to the next off-season signing. Chris Paul has joined the San Antonio Spurs and partnered up with Victor Wembanyama.
That'll be interesting to see. CP3 is still CP3 at the end of the day.
Do you think he will help bring up the team and get some wins in?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He did that for the Thunder when he got traded there from Houston, and he'll do it again. I think it'll be perfect because you're not going to put the ball in Jeremy Shoshan, or you're not going to put the ball in Wemby's hand from the point. Chris Paul is one of the best floor managers out there. He might not be as best scorer as he used to be or anything like that, but he's top 5, top 10 in assists all time? Top 5, I think.
I would like to assume so.
And he's that way for a reason. He's one of the best floor generals in this league has ever seen. And the fact you have a really young perennial player in Victor Wembanyama, I don't think there's very much players that you can really learn from. And you saw Chris Paul kind of help mentor Shea back when he was in Oklahoma City Thunder. And Shea's obviously elevated his game every single season since then. And Shea and Chris Paul hung out a lot, and they were really good friends when he was in Oklahoma City. So it'll be really interesting to see. I don't necessarily think this makes the Spurs a playoff team yet, but they're heading the right direction. It's nice this might just be a 1-year deal with CP3. I think it only was a 1-year.
I think it was
contract. Yeah. But like I said, the CP3 helped Shea, and now he should have been MVP last year. And now I think it's just perfect for Chris Paul to kind of just mentor Wemby.
Yeah, he's third all time. Yeah. We saw so many clips last season of guys like Trey Jones and Jeremy Sochan missing Wemby wide open, running the floor where he's just wide open right under the hoop.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're missing just obvious opportunities, really easy buckets. And like you said, Chris Paul is a floor general. He's not gonna miss those opportunities. He's gonna have an insane 2-man game.
Absolutely.
Like you said, I think his scoring has decreased. He's not as an effective scorer, but I think the one part of his game that hasn't digressed yet is his pull up.
Yeah.
Especially off the pick and roll. And so being able to do a pick and roll with Victor Wembanyama, I mean, we saw what he was doing in Lob City, and now you got a guy like Wemby. So it's definitely going to bring the team up a little bit. Like you said, I don't think this will bring him to playoff status, but just being able to have a vet like this, such a great basketball mind for Wemby, it's going to be huge for Wemby's game.
Yeah, it's like I said, it'll be great. I don't, like I said as well, it's not going to make him a playoff team.
No,
that's not going to happen yet. Victor Wembanyama, you're going to have to wait a little bit. I mean, if you would have got drafted to the Thunder, you wouldn't have to, but don't matter. Chet's better. I'll die on that hill, even though I'm wrong. I know I am, but I'm just going to continue to say it because I kind of keep up the gig, right?
Yeah.
But no, it'll be great. Like I said, just mentor, help run the floor, help mentor people like Devin Vassell and Jeremy Shoshan. I think Shoshan needs a lot of mentoring, personally.
Yeah.
But young team outside of Chris Paul, lots to look forward to.
Yeah, and like you said, going back to KCP, he is out of Denver and he has signed a new contract with the Orlando Magic, bringing a veteran presence, to that very young locker room.
Yeah,
solid defender. We've seen his 3-point shooting. I think this is a good addition for this team.
Yeah, he's great. I'm not sure if we had the same exact role as he did in Denver, because the Magic were kind of all over the place last year. They did make a playoff run. I think they lost in the first round to the Cavs, right?
Yep.
So that was their first playoffs run in a long time. And you had the Wagner boys on there, and I think he'll definitely be better than them. So I think he'll be great for next to Paulo and next to Jalen Suggs. I still think they need another big guy, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Who'd they lose? They lost. I think they lost a big guy, didn't they? Or at least no, guys. Was Mo Wagner? Mo Wagner was not their only big guy, was he?
No, they have Wendell Carter. I have to look at who else they have, but I know they have Wendell Carter.
Like I said, just kind of stacking to a position where you didn't need it. I feel like Paulo's a big guy, but he's not a center, and obviously Paulo's probably their franchise guy there.
Yeah, I think his defense will be beneficial. Just we saw how effective this team was at defense last year. One of the top defensive teams in the league. I think just being able to have that will be nice for that team. But yeah, let me look into this roster right now. They really don't have too many bigs. And I know that's been a topic of conversation with this team. Yeah, they have Wendell Carter, Goga Bitstatske, and that's really about it. And then you have the Wagner brothers.
And then I think he can really be valuable in the veteran presence. Especially because he was the man that helped. He helped Jokic in his MVP seasons.
Yeah, he's got that championship history.
He got the championship.
Yeah,
he could really be a really valuable piece to lean on. And with a lot of these young guys, it's a pretty young team, and they kind of looked all over the place last year. There's just no consistency, I feel like. They had Cole Anthony as well right there, right? Isaac Jones.
Yep.
Isaac Jones. Jonathan Isaac.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a good signing. That's for sure. Definitely nothing in the wrong direction, but how much does it elevate the Magic? If he can really help facilitate the floor, and just that if that offense kind of figures it out, kind of gets more organized, then I feel like it'd be really great.
Yeah,
the team make a better playoff appearance this year.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this team can do with Paulo, just rising star, such a good player. Hoping that playoff experience can help them out a little bit. But talk about a team that really doesn't need to get more depth, but keeps getting more depth. As you know, I think this one happened pretty recently, but Lonnie Walker has agreed to, I don't think is a 1-year deal.
I think it's just a 1-year deal
with the Boston Celtics. So the Boston Celtics get Lonnie Walker. Matt, what is he going to bring to this team?
8th spot off the bench. I don't know. No, Lonnie Walker's good. He doesn't bring anything that they don't have. I'm sorry.
Yep.
He's a good player. I don't know. Yeah. I got nothing there.
I mean, I think he's been a great role player in all of his teams he's on. Efficient 3-point shooter. Was it the Spurs?
That's why I remember the Spurs. I can't remember any other teams.
Yeah, I think he was on the Spurs last, but effective 3-point shooter. He's very athletic, so he's very efficient in transition.
Yeah.
Which is always nice. He was on the Lakers.
He was on the Lakers.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I knew that.
Yep, he was on the Lakers 2 years ago, and then I think he was Brooklyn last. Oh, it was Brooklyn last year.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
With Mikal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll be interesting.
So, just another guy for them to have.
I don't think he's going to be that much when they have everything they need.
Yeah.
Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
They just have more insurance with Lonnie Walker, I feel like.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, why not go play for a championship team? So, yeah, Celtics are going to be fucked when it comes to money.
Oh yeah,
they're about to be.
They're going to be fucked. Yeah, they're definitely going to have some repercussions. So, yeah. That'll be screwed. I wonder how they're going to figure that out. Yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk about one last signing for tonight. The Phoenix Suns did some moves. They made some moves in the offseason. They have brought in Tyus Jones from the Wizards, and they've brought in Mason Plumlee.
Denny, how you feeling about that?
Losing Drew Eubanks and then getting Mason Plumlee in return, as Drew Eubanks has left us this offseason. I don't really know how to feel about it. I mean, Plumlee plays good role minutes. We saw what he did in the playoffs against the Suns 2 years ago on the Clippers when that team was really banged up and he was starting along with Russ. He can play good minutes. He can be a good defender, get you those rebounds, hopefully be an aggressive defender.
I think he's a step up from Eubanks.
Yeah.
That's
I like
fair.
him. And then with Tyus Jones, I am kind of excited for this one. I'm hoping that he can be the facilitator that they're needing, and so Book can go back to his 2 role. But Tyus Jones, he was in Memphis all that time, only really played a lot of minutes when Ja was out. Got the starting role for the Wizards, and then increased his, I think, assists per game up to 7.
And I think he led the league in turnover to assist ratio.
Yep, and
last year.
Yeah, that's what Book was talking about too on media day. So hoping that this guy can just be a facilitator for the team.
They kind of need it.
Yeah,
they can't rely on Grayson Allen to do that.
No, he can facilitate. He can find his own shot. They can have Book play off ball, and I mean he excels there. So I'm hoping that this is a step in the right direction for the Suns this year.
Now, where do you? I think both those guys make your team better, but how much better? And do you really think this is it, or
this is not going to take us to where we need to go?
No,
this is not going to take us where we need to go. This is a good step in the right direction, but there's a lot more that needs to be done. And I'll get into that rant next episode, but
that's fair.
This is a step in the right direction. Definitely help move the ball in offense more, like I talked about all the time. They start off the game well, moving the ball, and then they become stagnant in the later quarters, especially when they start losing.
Yep.
That's when the ball is in Book's or KD's hand, ISO, try to put up a shot, especially KD. So being able to have a guy who can hopefully, calm everything down, run the floor, facilitate, find guys in their spots, would be a step in the right direction for me.
Yeah. And that's the biggest offseason signings we got.
Yep.
Okay, so before we wrap up here, Denny, give me your favorite trade of this offseason and your favorite offseason signing.
My favorite offseason signing, I think, is kind of biased, but Russ. Yeah. I'm excited to see Russ go play in Denver. I mean, we've seen the success of Denver. We've seen, they've won it. What they have, Jokic is still in his prime. You're bringing Russ into a championship locker room, championship team. Give him his shot to get one.
He needs a
give
ring.
him his shot.
You know what? If it means, because I think the Thunder have a long window.
Yeah.
If it means Russ gets a ring, I'm all for it.
Give
He
him-
deserves it.
Give him his shot, man.
Yeah, that's my favorite offseason signing too.
Yeah, I would love to see Russ get a ring. He deserves it. The man has put in the work, and much more. And then I would say my favorite trade, I would probably say, obviously I'm excited about the Caruso one, but I would say the DeMar trade.
Yeah.
Just because I've been a fan of the Kings. I've been a really big fan of Sabonis. Always praised that guy. He got snubbed last year. It's ridiculous. Malik Monk is a bucket, 6th man of the year. We've seen what De'Aaron can do. I think being able to bring in that veteran presence in the locker room, I'm really hoping it takes them to the next level. They get back in the playoffs.
They're just fringe.
Yep.
They would be great one night, not the next.
And and I feel like they would have trouble scoring down the stretch.
And it's not like they're getting blown out by any means. They were in almost every single game they were at.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Sometimes they would have struggle getting the ball in the bucket, and you're just bringing in another guy who's got ice in his veins and can help out. So, I'm excited for that trade.
Yeah. Took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say both the same signings and that, other than the very biased of Isaiah Hartenstein and Caruso.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, that I'm really excited for Sacramento. I feel like this is the best trade that really, really helps a team get to the next level here.
Yep.
Out of every other trade here, I think DeMar really puts Sacramento on the next level with De'Aaron, DeMontis.
It's gonna be a good squad. It's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be a fun team. So I'm hoping they can step it up, get out of that play-in, secure a playoff spot, and let's start dancing.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else, Denny?
Just really happy to be back. Basketball is right around the corner. Like I said, October 22nd is opening night. We are back in full swing. It was kind of nice having the Olympics going on, having summer league going on. Basketball never really stopped with all the off-season stuff. But now we're back to the regular season, and so this is where we live.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty excited.
I'd rather take the fall and basketball season over summer any day of the year. I'm so excited. Football's here, baby. We're playing basketball's here, not just football.
Yep.
Excuse me. That's another story of fantasy, but I'm super excited for basketball season, man. Like I said, opening weekend we'll be in San Diego, so that'll be really fun to watch it down there. Just kind of see some California love on there, and so I will share my excitement in the next preseason episode 2 for season 2 of how I think of this Thunder team and how I think about your team possibly coming up in the next episode, Denny.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for tuning in. Episode 22. Episode 1 of season 2. We are back for another season.
Yeah.
Ready to rock and roll.
Go ahead and follow us all on socials: Twitter, Bank Shot Degens; Instagram, Bank Shot Degens. If you want to email us questions or suggestions or anything like that, or maybe find a producer, or maybe you want to sponsor us or something like that, we also have a Gmail at dgensports@gmail.com. They'll be in the description. Go on YouTube, like and subscribe. Save our show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you want to listen to us at. Save our episodes. Really helps us out so we can give some better content down the road. Please just help us out if you support us. I'm not going to tell you to just do it for shits and gigs, because we believe in the shit we're talking about. So that should do it for us.
We'll be back for another preseason episode before we enter game 1. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next time.
The bank is closed.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace.